When it comes to iron deficiency, it's natural to think, am I at risk? Well, iron deficiency is very common, especially among women and in people who have a diet that is low in iron. Now, to shed more light on this, we have the good doctor, Dr. FERRIMED, and he's here to talk about who is at risk of iron deficiency, the importance of testing, and also the necessary treatment. Dr. FERRIMED, so good to have you with us in studio. How are you?
Good, thank you. Such a privilege to be here.
Let's start right there. Who is particularly vulnerable to having iron deficiency and iron deficiency anemia, and why is this the case?
So we've touched on this a little bit, and it's always going to be true, but the most vulnerable group by far is ladies. So ladies are always important because the ladies are actually losing blood monthly if everything's going well. So especially your ladies in their fertile years, most vulnerable group by far. In addition to the ladies being vulnerable in their fertile times, in their pregnant times, even more so, because then there's something else that wants to share their iron. And the body has a very nasty way of giving the baby everything it needs and stealing it from the body if it needs to, which can really affect the growth of the baby and the health of the mom and then her recovery after that pregnancy. So iron in pregnancy, absolutely critical. A group that we don't always think of is children. It's difficult to test, but we forget that children's diets are not always great. They tend to eat wheat-based diets, carbohydrate diets, sugar diets. They may take in a lot of dairy, which are really not good iron-containing foods. And so they become easily depleted if they're not eating the variety of vegetables that we all fight with our children to try to eat. Your other big group is your chronic ill patients, so people with diseases that they've had for years, skin diseases, emphysema, lung diseases, diabetes, very much these, your HIV, your immune-compromised patients. Their bodies really struggle to retain iron, absorb iron. So this is a hugely important group that we sometimes don't consider, is that they may be tired and we think, well, it's probably because of their sickness that they have, but it's actually an iron deficiency.
Got it. Speaking about women, why do you think it's so important that we reinforce the message that women in South Africa needs to get their iron levels tested?
I think it's just because it's such a common problem. You're talking about 1 in 2 women. So it's not that iron works differently in women or does anything differently in women. It's just that because women are so vulnerable, it's a common problem. And I think the other thing about it is it's so easy to fix. You're really going to have a hard time to fix it with your diet. So if your diet hasn't been adequate to supply iron up to this point, and we find that you've got low iron, it's going to be really hard for you to change your diet to the extent that you need to up those levels of iron back to normal. Easy to find, easy to treat. It's just like a no-brainer. You should do iron.
There you go, ladies. It is so important to test for and then treat iron deficiency. So let's get to the treatment options. What are the treatment options available for iron deficiency, and how long does this treatment last?
Yep, those are good questions. So a lot of people think maybe a month of an iron supplement will be enough to restore iron. Not good enough. For most people, by the time you have symptoms of iron deficiency, you probably need 2 to 3 months worth of iron supplements, and then it depends what the supplement is. So you have tablet forms and capsule forms, and you have therapeutic things, clinically proven things. You have over-the-counter supplements which are not necessarily proven. So iron is not just iron. Just because it says iron on the box doesn't mean that's what ends up in your body. And some supplements have really tiny amounts, some have larger amounts. So it really is not what you eat, it's what you absorb. Then you have the option of having a drip of iron, which often solves the problem. Instead of a month or 3 of iron supplements in a tablet form or a capsule form or a chewable form, you actually can do an intravenous thing, which then 1 or 2 drips can actually replace all that iron in a matter of hours. So that's really a great way.
Are there any side effects when it comes to taking too much iron supplements or iron in the body? So
there certainly are. The oral form of supplement has given iron a very bad name. So in the past, we had a very basic form of iron, which was bound to a sulfate. And this used to cause a lot of constipation, dark stools, nausea, Some people said it used to stain their teeth, give you a metallic taste in your mouth. It is iron, right? So there are side effects and drawbacks, but these have improved considerably with the newer forms of iron that we have available. So it's not actually the problem it used to be. So that's almost becoming not a myth, it's very real, but there are forms of iron that will suit you. So don't just discount the iron because I tried it and it caused this side effect. Definitely not always a problem.
Here's my other question. Should you test for iron deficiency, you know, after receiving treatment for it?
Excellent, excellent. So this is, I think, a huge gap. So a lot of people go, they're told by their doctor or whoever's tested, a nurse, your iron is low. We take the supplement. Oh, I feel a bit better. Now I just carry on. But now if I haven't actually confirmed that the level is back to normal, I actually can just get out of the bad state, feel better, and just in a few months' time, it just repeats all over again. So we kind of prefer do the supplement for 2 or 3 months, retest it. After a drip, I'll test you again 6 weeks later and see where did we get to. Let's do another one until it's absolutely normal. And then, very importantly, is once I've proven that it's normal, it's also important to retest it again in 6 weeks to 12 weeks to see, is it staying up? Because I do want to know if it keeps dropping, that's not right. Where's it going? And so we have to investigate that.
I think the main point here is that women, everybody vulnerable as well, children as well, should get tested. For everyone here's the thing, everyone gets tired from time to time, but if you feel exhausted every single day, you may be suffering from fatigue, which is a symptom of iron deficiency. Now, if you are concerned about your symptoms, it's important that you find out with certainty whether iron deficiency is the reason by speaking to your doctor in order to work out what is causing your symptoms and how to treat it.
1 in 2 healthy South African women suffer from iron deficiency. Speak to your healthcare professional about getting tested and treated for iron deficiency. Brought to you by FERRIMED.